Page 24, Aquarium. It's got some neat stuff in it. It looks terrible. Well, let's just look at it. It's not that bad. On page 23, they talk about some technique stuff that I've actually already sort of covered. Because the technique I use when I play and when I teach is weight controlled. So it's like at the top of page 22 where they talk about the wrist movement where you're coming these notes. I'm just rotating the wrist. I'm not holding still and trying to do the fingers. I'm rotating the wrist. The forearm actually rotates a little. I tend to exaggerate it for the camera so you can see it more easily, but it's actually a small motion. And same thing in the left hand, they've got it. Should do it at the same time. Type thing. Then in the middle they talk about the lateral movement, and that is you're just kind of rolling this way. It's one way. It's like so. Got to be able to go both directions. You don't go down very often. You're usually going up. But you need to be able to. It's just transferring weight from finger to finger. It's like spokes on a wheel that's going. Oh, so we're here. At the bottom it's the same thing. They saying vertical drop and roll. I don't vertical drop. If you do, drop gently. It's here. You're coming down and then roll. Type thing. But you have to control each note. It's got to be even and controlled. You don't just... There's times in music we do that, but this isn't it. When they write out these notes like that, control that. We should feel these triplets at the bottom of page 23. Then we use the stuff on this piece. So let's look at this slowly. 4/4 time with one flat. So either we are in F major or D minor. Well, look at the end. The last measure, we're here. It's a D major chord. That's not F major or D minor, is it? Well, keep in mind that a lot of pieces, not necessarily in this time period, a lot of pieces this back before classical broke in there, when they would have a piece in a minor key, it was deemed necessary and correct to end it on the major chord of that. So a D minor piece would end with a D major chord. They would just end it with the major. That's the way they did it, I don't know. So when it does that, it tells me it's probably in D minor and they're ending on a D major chord. So my feeling is this is probably in D minor. We'll be able to tell more as we get into it and listen to it, because G major and D minor don't sound the same. So we can usually tell what the harmony is just by listening to the piece. So 4/4 time, right hand first. Let's get these 1E and a 1E and again we're rotating here. Keep the hands on the keys. And it's just a very slight motion. Then second measure, the last notes, you got it here. And that means in the next measure, the first one has to be with fourth finger. But then you can immediately use fifth finger. I mean, you can come back. Again, at the top of page 25. Fourth finger on here, you can just stay fourth finger and third finger. It's still a rotating. The reason is because we got the B's coming up. So you got the B flat coming up. And then fourth finger. And just work that. Even when the notes are close together, you can still do this rotating thing. And then come out. This is the lateral thing there. And then you come down here, fourth finger, you can lift up and move here, that's fine. And then this last measure, the second line is 4, 3, and they're saying 3 again here. And 4 again here, and that's an A now on the third line. And then you got this coming up and down. You're rolling up and then rolling right back down. It's kind of a circle thing. Like da 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 da. The wrist just does it. I don't force it to, but that's what sort of happens on its own. And then here, third finger. And then up. 2-5 then for the C sharp, and then here. And come down. And I do a 1 on the D. This is the last line there, second measure, because I'm here to here. Now if you don't want to use this fingering, you can do a 1-4, 2-3, and then a 1. It's up to you. You have to find a fingering that is comfortable for you and that fits your fingers. Or fits your hand, depending on how big your hand is. And then back to rotating again. They're saying fourth finger. It's all right. And then the final one is the F sharp. Remember the F sharp? It's a D major thing. Left hand, let's look at that. At the beginning, treble clef, 2 voices. You're going to hold the D down. It's tied to the quarter notes with 5 counts. And as you hold it down, you're playing these other notes. And then here, I recommend a fourth finger on the B flat. That's the chord. That's the fingering for it. It's what I recommend. And then again, fourth finger on the B natural. Then here, hold this bottom note down. That's a 5-3. Going on, you're here. Remember the B flat? You hold the G down. Now, the C sharp is by itself. And then here, 5, 2, 1. And again. Then you get treble clef. This is a fourth line down, second measure there on page 25. It's here. You're playing the G by itself. I'll come back to the rhythm when we put the hands together. Hold down, and then at the end. 5, 3, 1. Put the hands together. Slowly. You're up here to begin with. Remember to hold the D down. Now, let's talk rhythm. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 E and a. So the 1, 2, 3, the D's on 3, and the B flat up there's on 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, and then go on. And a 2 E. B natural's there. Then go on. Second line, second measure. 1 E and a 2. Right there's 2. 1 E and a 2. See the way the notes are beamed together? They're beamed according to the beat. So first beat, those notes are all beamed together. And then the next notes are beamed together. That's the second beat, or the third beat, or second beat, or something. And then here, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. And so you look at the beams too, they're done by beat. And then you're coming down. Now here, let up on the G on there because it's a quarter rest. sure you let up on the G here. That C sharp is by itself. So that measure, third line down, first measure, 1E and a 2E and a 3. That's on 3. And the A is on 4. See how again the notes are beamed according to the beat. So it's 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. One E and a triplets. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and. Then the last line, triplets go away. Careful. 1 and 2. You have to work out this rhythm very slowly and deliberately. What I do sometimes in the music when it gets a little tricky in the rhythm is I'll take a pencil and draw a vertical line above the staves on each beat so I can see where the beat is. As here it's not quite so bad because we have quarter notes in the left hand. We can see where the beat is. So it makes it a little easier. I need to know what notes are on the beat. If that can keep me going, at least I can get in the other stuff. So you work that out carefully. And then go in, and the articulation for the most part is slurs. You see the slurs? Just lift up between the slurs. Otherwise, it's legato pretty much throughout. It gives the illusion that you're underwater and things are just kind of flowing along. It's all connected, except for the slur. Then the dynamics, softly. And both hands are going to have to kind of go together here. So just keep it softly and flowing. On Dantino, there's disagreement on what that means. It's just keep it comfortably. The 16th notes will tell you about how fast you can go. They don't go lickety split, just comfortable. Then, in order to help make it a little more legato and add a little more color to it, we can add pedal. They're showing pedal in a few places. I don't know. We'll go ahead and do the way they're suggesting it. And the pedal, I'm going to pretty much push the pedal down here with the notes and lift it up before I play the notes after the pedal. So there's a little silence. So the pedal comes in on the second measure. So on the second measure, you're here. And when I push the G down, I push the pedal down. And when I lift the B flat up, I lift the pedal up with it. So that it's coming down. So it's the first line there is here. And at the top of page 25, again, same thing. Now here, we're pushing the pedal down the whole measure. And push it down right after you play the notes on this one. And lift it up before we go on, so there's a little silence. And you don't have to have a break there. So if you want to connect it, go ahead. In other words, you lift the pedal up as you play the notes in the next measure is what I'm saying. So the third line. Now, this is the last two lines there on page 25. Starting the second measure. Here, the triplets. Push it down with the F. And then lift it up before you play it. So now, we're not pedaling these, but they're fairly connected. So Now what I like to do here is I lift the pedal up before I release the A to release the sound here, so it's by itself. I don't lift it up when I play the A, I lift it up right after I play the A, so it's slowly. See, I play the A first and then lift it up to release the sound. And the last line, they're not pedaling that, I guess. There's a rallentando there and a diminuendo. And then push the pedal down after I play the D. And up with the hands. I guess the fish is running out of gas or something there. I'm not sure there at the end. This is an arrangement from an orchestra piece that Saint-Saëns did. Let's play it together slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do the dynamics. We're going to have to go really, really slow because of all the 16th notes though. So I put the metronome on 8th notes. So it's beating 8th notes. So the 16th notes are 1 E and da, 1 E and da, 2 E and da. So the 16th notes are still moving along pretty good. Everything else is slow. So I'm going to give us 2 8th note counts to start. So it's ready and go and 1 E and 2, like that. Now let's play the whole thing through slowly like that. Ready and go and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and and 2 E and and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and